You can have money, but if you don't have health, what's the point of the money?
Matt King.
South African man, grew up in Australia, a heavy fighting journey, Muay Thai, MMA, trying to take the journey entrepreneurial and take a step back from the 9 to 5.
What would you say is your current mission?
To take everything that I've learned on my journey to actually build better men. It's easier to build strong boys than it is to fix broken men. Now we've got a community of just shy of 800 men. The journey of entrepreneurship is one of the most defining times of your life and in self-development as a man.
Do you feel like you give yourself, I guess, grace when maybe things aren't going well?
For a long, long time, I never gave myself grace. I know that part of this chronic fatigue situation that I'm experiencing is due to the fact that I haven't given myself grace. Time's running out.
Do you still feel that that's apparent in your life?
Major contributing factors to that. My mom was diagnosed with cancer 2024. You almost just expected that your parents are going to be around at a specific age. I want to make them proud. And maybe they say that they're proud of me now, but I don't feel it yet because I know that I've got so much further to go. I know that I'm just scratching the surface of my potential. We need to be effective in the mission that we're chasing.
Man, what do you think you struggle with now then, bro?
I struggle with a lot. Cuz honestly.
If I could have one moment of your time. Most of you guys listening or watching do not subscribe to the channel. The simple and easiest way to help and support us is to subscribe. It helps us get the guests that you guys want, and it gives us a more opportunity to grow this thing to where we want to take it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode. Kia ora.
Matt King, my bro. Welcome to the Martin Show, brother.
Thank you for having me, cuz.
Matt, what do we need to know about you to know a little bit more about who you are, brother? South
African man, 30 years old, grew up in Australia, heavy fighting journey, Muay Thai, MMA, boxing. Now I'm out here in Bali, really trying to build those new foundations for life, trying to take the journey entrepreneurial and take a step back from the 9 to 5 and all of that comes with that. So,
how would you describe life in South Africa? Early context, early life.
So I moved to Australia when I was very young. So I never really fully experienced the livings of South Africa, but I could see the remnants of that and how it showed up in my family. You know, like apartheid ended in 94 and I moved to Australia around about that same time. So my parents are trying to get out of South Africa for a long time, just understanding what the future looked like and the opportunities and the possibilities of that. You know, a lot of people end up dead or in jail in South Africa. It's a tough life, you know, it's very poverty driven. There's a lot of crime, a lot of violence, and it's a beautiful place in terms of landscape, but in terms of culture, it's also amazing. But in terms of opportunity, it's not really it. You know what I mean? So we moved over to Australia, and that was an absolute blessing at that time. Like Australia has given us everything. Blessed for Australia, you know? And it's kind of sad to see the way that Australia is going, and hence the reason I've kind of moved out to Indonesia.
So if I asked you, Matt, where's home? Where would you say?
I'll say where my feet are right now is home. And I have to give props. I have to give love and respect for where I currently am in my journey. There will be a part of me that's always home in Australia. My family is there, you know, like what Australia's blessed me with is I can be super appreciative and super grateful, but words can't even describe the opportunities that Australians given us as a family. But the motherland will always be South Africa. Will always be Africa. Will always be Mama Africa, you know.
And for us to understand, I guess, more of who you are and the journey you're currently on, what would you say is your current mission?
My current mission is to be the best man that I can be for myself and for my brothers around me. Also, to take everything that I've learned on my journey to actually build better men. I've realized that it's easier to build strong boys than it is to fix broken men. And I feel like with the journey that I'm on at the moment with the Brotherhood and everything that comes with that, I realize that that's where my purpose is. That's where I really have to lean into. That's where the world needs it. And it's not even up to me anymore. It's not whether I choose this has chosen me, you know? So I have a duty of care, a responsibility to actually really lean into this at this current moment, in this current stage. And it's I think that the journey of entrepreneurship is one of the most defining times of your life and in self-development as a man, because it tests you. Like it's all on you. the way that you speak, the way that you communicate, the way that you embody who you are, the way that other people see you, the way that you connect with others. I think for this current stage in my life, it doesn't get more real than this, you know?
Yeah, brother, that's beautiful. Very, very similar as well. What do you think men are missing most today?
You know what? I think that we've lost almost the ruggedness of masculinity, like what it is to be a man, you know, the integrity, the duty, the responsibility. And we've also lost our purpose. A lot of men nowadays, they really struggle because women aren't relying on us anymore. You know, they often out-earn us. They often don't need us in the aspect of finances and having their own places. The world has become so soft in many aspects, and many men have become so soft that they pay for women.
Yeah, wow.
So to be a genuine man at this current stage and to actually love, care, protect, provide for a woman, it's not really there like it used to be. And a lot of men are struggling. They don't know where they are in the world. They don't know what to do next. They don't know. The average man is exactly that, average nowadays. But you could be an average man in the past. You could provide for a family. You could have kids on a single income. You could do all those things that really solidified yourself as a man and as an individual, and it's just not there right now.
If there is a young man listening to this that does feel in that position, quite lost, maybe disconnected to himself, what do you think is like step number one?
Men need men, 100%. So for us, you know, as fighters, being in the gym, being around older boys, being around younger boys, just being around genuine masculinity, I think that's a massive step. I think the basics of hard training, brotherhood, nutrition, understanding sleep, and all the necessary steps it takes to actually reach a goal or an objective, I think that's what men really need. Like to build that confidence, that self-image from the ground up first. I think that's the initial stepping stone that we need as men right now, so that we can then take that and then let that dilute into other places in the world, in relationships, in friendships, in family, on your socials, in person, who you are as a man, how you embody it, how you stand up and how you move in life. I think it all comes from how you look, and the self-image comes first.
Beautiful, bro. Speaking of men, I do want to go to self-image in a bit. Thank you for pointing that out. But speaking of men, you've actually built or helped found one of the founders of Bali Brotherhood. Just over a year now, I believe.
Just over a year, 18 months.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much, guys.
What impact has that community made on you?
Massive, you know, like myself and a friend were the OG founders of that. And that just came across from a conversation on the beach one day. We were both talking amongst ourselves, and we're just thinking, you know, like looking from the outside in on Indonesia and on Bali, everyone's connected and everyone's partying and everyone's fully in this community together, but it's not the case. It really isn't the case. And there was some of the boys close to me over the years, you know, that have committed suicide and all those type of things. And I really realized that you can be so together with people, but also so alone. And that loneliness is a massive crutch for a lot of men. So we just thought, you know what, if it's not here, why don't we build it for ourselves? You know, and I always got taught, if you're going to complain about something, if you don't like it, do something about it. So we did. Now we've got a community of just shy of 800 men. We get between 30 and 60 men weekly. The impact that that's had is massive. And I don't think that we often give ourselves the props, the credit for what we've actually done, because it's just been a consistency thing. And in the fight game, we say drillers are killers. It's just reps on reps, you know. When you look from the outside and you zoom out on the overall picture, it's like we've shown up every single week we're in this country for 18 months. We started with 4 men. Now we've got close to 800. We've got 60 guys weekly. People are noticing us. People are really starting to see the impact that we're having, and people understand like the trust in the community and the pool, the respect that we have. And like I said, men need men. We've got boys, you know, as young as 18, 19 years old, all the way through to 75.
Wow.
And these guys show up weekly, 8 a.m. There's a reason it's 8 a.m. They're skin in the game. You can't be out late on a Friday night if you have to be up for 8 a.m., you know?
Yeah, bro.
And the boys don't even realize that these boys show up for themselves, but they don't even realize that by showing up for themselves, they're actually serving other men. They're there in service of others without even realizing it. And ideally, that's what we need. It's men in service of men. And I think as soon as you build a bit of a community like that and you realize the importance of this, you realize that the world needs it. It's not just Bali.
Yeah, bro.
It's Australia, it's NZ, it's Africa, it's the UK. And with this disconnection that we're having in the world currently, amongst gender, amongst race, amongst all these type of situations, migration, we realize that it's not an issue in these minorities, because at heart we are men, and that's what we need to revert back to. So that's where we're at the moment.
Oh, I love that.
Welcome to the Martin Show first ad break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh?
Bro, what do you think men crave most that they don't even realize?
I think men crave a purpose. And I think that purpose has been diluted over time. And as we spoke about before, I think the average man is unattractive to the average woman. And that has really displaced us due to the fact that it takes us far longer to provide the world with value. Whereas a lot of women, you know, they're given value based on youth, fertility, beauty, sexuality from such a young age. And we're only really starting to find that, see that, understand that at mid-20s. So without a purpose, men are lost. And it's like trying to ride a bike and standing still. You know, you're going to fall over every time. But when you're moving, when you've got momentum, when you're heading in a direction, I think that's when you can really build some speed. You know, you can bring people along with you on the journey. And together, like, I think that we're truly unstoppable as long as we've got other people around us to pull us in line.
Yeah, bro. And I also think in a community, in a brotherhood, there are other men out there that are experiencing the same problems as you, which makes you feel less alone. And so when you're hearing other men talk about their fears, their weaknesses, even some of their strengths, you're like, ooh, man, that sounds like me. Or the old me. So now I feel empathetic for the bro because I used to be that guy too.
Yeah.
And then that's where like growth happens, right?
Exactly.
Why is this mahi important to you, bro? Why is this work important to you personally?
Because I think that, you know, with the current school system, with everything that's happening in the world right now, we've lost what it is to be a man. You know, being a man is about integrity, it's about duty, it's about responsibility. And when you have no purpose, when you have nothing to conquer and no one to, you know, to look after and care for, men become very hedonistic. It's all, you know, previously it was a status game, but the status game looked different because it was about kingship. It was about having land. It was about having as many kids as possible. It was about really creating like this small army, this true union, this camaraderie amongst us. And now it's like you got the crypto bros 20 years old making tens, hundreds of millions. And when we have, like I said, no purpose, we just revert back to hedonism. We've lost the sense of faith in God. And we've headed into this direction where it's about how we look rather than who we are. And social media has just fueled this fire massively.
Wow. It's so true, bro. And I think looking at you personally as well in your journey, I look at you as there's that quote, it's like the entrepreneurial mind, the athlete body, and then the artistic soul, like a spiritual guider. I feel like you possess all those three things, bro. And it's something that me and myself are aspiring to be, you know, to become in that realm. Out of those three, you mentioned you're in this entrepreneurial journey now. What one stuck out for you first, bro, out of those three things?
Definitely building the body.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I understand hard work and I know that no one can take it away from me.
Yeah, cuz.
You know, like the choices that I make when no one's looking, that's what means the most to me. And that's like true integrity, doing what you need to do long after the enjoyment or the leisure is worn off. Because I also realize that you can't fake it. You know, even if you were to use PEDs and all that kind of stuff, it still requires hard work. And that in itself, you know, building the body, it also builds the mind. And then that same mind and the body that's got you to this position will take you forth to the next position in entrepreneurship. And it opens you when you have a certain mindset, you're not as agreeable. You're not as conforming. If the world wants to come for you, like, fuck it, let's go. And I think that's that dog inside us, that fighter that we have innately, but it's also developed and built amongst other savages. That same way that you can become a professional fighter, you can become very experienced and very successful in business. And then if you have the opposing side to that, you speak of like the spiritual side and the softness. It's like we need to have that as well. With every loss, there's win, and with every win, there's loss. And sometimes like the loss is not something that's in your hands completely, but when your brothers are hurting, that's when you need to have that softness as well. Where it's like you can hug one of the boys, support them. You're like, yeah, you're going through it right now, but we got this. It's just a matter of time, and what can I do for you? How can I serve you? How can I show up for you in this current moment that's going to allow us to get to the next level?
Out of those three things, bro, what's front of mind for you at the moment? Or where do you feel like you need to work on?
You know what? Life is a consistent game, It's about, for me, it's leveling up all the stats. Like I kind of do my absolute best to live my life like Grand Theft Auto, like tick off all these boxes, complete all the objectives, all the side missions, everything like that. So like, once again, it starts with my being, my vessel first, always. Training, nutrition, sleep, these type of things, education. And then that moves into the entrepreneurial side of things, because you can have money, but if you don't have health, what's the point of the money?
Wow.
And being in Indonesia has been a massive, massive perspective shift for me, due to the fact that I have been experiencing this chronic fatigue situation. Because I've realized, even if I had all the money in the world right now, there's nothing I can do with it, because I don't have the energy to be able to push hard in those areas. So how do I dial it back? What's really important for me now? All right, the body comes first, the mind comes first, the nervous system comes first. All of these aspects are the greatest of importance for me right now, the highest of priorities. Because once I achieve that, then I can move through and have that same energy, that same drive, that same momentum in the entrepreneurial journey. And then outside of that, it's like the spiritual journey, being in touch with God, being in touch with the land, nature. If you look at where we're from, NZ, South Africa, Australia, even Bali, massive energetic portals, like genuine culture, true love for the land and the experiences, the cultures that comes with it. So everything scratches each other's back, honestly.
Going into, I guess, the athlete body section, you mentioned you're a fighter. Are you currently fighting?
Nah.
No?
Not at the moment, no.
How was that transition moving from fighter, something that you dedicated a lot of your life to, a lot of your time and energy to, and I guess leaving that identity back where it was?
Oof, that's a hard one. That is probably one of the biggest things that I've experienced in the last few years, is like having the identity of a fighter. Because, you can play football, you can play basketball, you can play cricket, but you are a fighter, so that is your whole identity. That's your entire makeup. That's almost who you are structurally, biologically. It's like there are certain people that have it and certain people that don't have it. And to be a professional fighter and to actually achieve greatness in that area, there are many things that need to come together. It's like the resilience piece, the body piece, the heart piece, the mindset, the consistency, all of these things that in fighting will get us to the next level, but also as being a man, it's the same thing that carries us forward. So taking a backward step from fighting, also accompanied with my fatigue journey, it's been hard, because you knew where you were and where you were heading. You knew what you needed to do to get there. And then when that's taken off your plate, you often have to think, all right, fuck, this is where we are. Like I need to really accept who I am, where I am in my journey. I need to take that exoskeleton of the fighter off. And that's all you've ever known. It's all I've ever known. So now it's like I can fight, and I'll always be a fighter at heart. But right now, this is the current season that I'm in. I'm a human first, before I'm a fighter. And I can help other humans and I can help other men. So this is where my fight lies right now. I'll always be a fighter, but my fight may be in the ring, it may be in other areas, and that's where it is.
How was that experience, I guess, like accepting that?
It's a daily acceptance, I think.
Right.
It's a daily acceptance. Because the egoic mind and the masculine conqueror within us wants to straight back to that. Everything in my veins, in my being is like, I could step back into that. But at 30 years old, we're not old, but we're not young anymore. And as a fighter, you have a shelf life. You know, you hit the wall at a certain time and you have to really look at the situation. You think to yourself long and hard, am I right now where I need to be to get to where I want to go? And yeah, you could push that. But at the same time is so important. If you want to be in the UFC, you kind of got to be in the UFC before you're 30 years old. You know, you need to have time to build, develop. You're going to experience the injuries. You're going to experience the hard times, you know, so you don't have all that much time. And like I said, we go back to the shelf life. In business, there's no shelf life. So it all rides on my shoulders. If I'm to achieve it, I've got to do it. And I can't be spreading myself too thin. I need to know where I'm heading. I need to know what it takes to get there. And it's like, what are the 5 or the 3 things I need to do daily to actually achieve that?
Do you think you've let that Matt go? Is he still there?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. The dog will always be there, you know,
Yeah,
like
bro.
the dog inside you. It's not going anywhere. It's never going anywhere. I think that itch always needs to be scratched in one way or another, whether it's weight training, whether it's like a hard run with the boys, you know, whether it's sparring or hitting pads or even just transferring of knowledge. You realize that the young cat's coming up. It's like, just because you're no longer fighting, it doesn't mean that knowledge goes nowhere.
Wow.
You can always transfer it. You can always lean into the younger boys and be that older brother for them that you may have needed when you were younger.
Yeah, you've actually mentioned something. It's acquiring knowledge doesn't bring power until you have applied what you've learned.
Yeah, 100%.
Stepping into your power by stepping into your truth. Do you feel like you're walking and living in your truth currently?
Yeah, definitely. And it's taken, you know, I'll say it's taken a long time to get there. But once again, it comes back to the acceptance of taking a step back from the fighter, you know, to let go of a specific identity as such. Because when you don't accept where you currently are and you want a goal that you know is outside of your realm at that current stage, the gap in between is where, like, the lack of ability to be grateful, appreciative, and that gap is the same gap where it's like that's what breeds anxiety. That's what breeds the position not to be able to rest, because it's like, I want this goal, but I'm not able or not willing to work for it. And I think if you are in a position where you have a goal that you're not willing to work for, you're not able to work for, you need to let go of it. You need to change course. And that's exactly what I've done over these last 18 months. It's been true acceptance, radical accountability. I can't do that right now. Calm. Where can I transfer this knowledge?
Yeah, we're taught to grab a hold, strive to be, all these things, but we're not really taught how to let go of things. And those are hard lessons. What do you think's helped you, bro, in this year and a half? I guess people, maybe experiences, moments, sort of come to that acceptance. What or who have helped you?
I'm very blessed for the people that I have around me, the men I have around me, the friends I have around me, the allies, you know, the support system I have around me. But honestly, I think it's just natural maturation of a man. Like, completely taking a step back, realizing that no one's coming to save me. You're like, all right, bet. This is what I have right now. This is what I can do right now. So how do we do it to the best of our abilities? How do we become world-class at this again? In a completely different sector, in a completely different area? How do I still achieve the same goal of, you know, sovereignty as a man, financial freedom, making sure your family's looked after, making sure your brothers are cared for? May not be like the fighting route in terms of lacing up gloves and punching on, but you're still fighting in another area. And that's where we currently are. That's where I currently am.
Would you say the season is very new to you, this chapter that you're in currently?
Yeah, it is. Massively.
Yeah, bro. So I'm sensing a bit of change. And you've also got another quote that I'd love to share, because again, it's top of mind, and it's, you can't have one foot in your old life and one foot in your new life and expect change. You got to go all in.
Yeah.
So my question for you, bro, is what do you think you need to change now in order to fully step into this new life that your soul desires?
It comes back to that piece of self-image.
Yeah.
And you have to truly believe that that's who you are. It's what you do. That is your entire life, rather than saying like, I'm a fighter that does podcasting. Nah, I'm an entrepreneur that fights and podcasts. It's full acceptance of this right now. I can't be giving 30% to the fight game and expecting to win titles.
Yeah.
And I can't give 30% to the entrepreneur game and expect to be successful. So how do we manage that? We've got 24 hours in a day. 8 of them are spent sleeping. We've got 16 hours left. So that 16 hours, say 2 hours are for travel, say 2 hours are for eating. You've got that other period of time where, all right, bet, starts first, build the body, build the mind, build that connection with God. When you achieve those things, then the entrepreneurial game is, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's manageable. And you look in the mirror and you look at the hard work that you've achieved over years, and you look at yourself deep in the eye, properly look at yourself, and you realize that you're not the man that you used to be. Like, you're moving into that next stage of life where people really start to take you seriously, where sometimes we don't even realize it. We've developed so fast and so rapidly because of who we're around, what we're doing, this acceptance of ourselves, this self-image that we see on a daily basis that I think, like, we haven't truly seen our development. We are starting to see the remnants of it. The evidence is showing up. The return on our investments are coming now from work we did 4 years ago. Wow. So at this current stage, the entrepreneurial game is new, but it's also one that's very exciting and very challenging at the same time.
Wow. Bro, very, very, I can resonate with that very currently as well. It's everything that you've probably experienced in your life, me as well, or the crafts, especially fighting. You learn once you start jiu-jitsu. Once you start, there's forever things to learn.
Of course.
It's just like business. You start, you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which makes it exciting and challenging.
Yeah.
Bro, I wanted to ask though, because I can sense you've done a lot of mahi, can sense the fuel. With this chronic fatigue especially, do you feel like you give yourself, I guess, grace when maybe things aren't going well, or when you're not feeling great? Do you give yourself that grace to be like, maybe I should just rest, or maybe I should just take a step back? Or are you one of those guys that are very, very hard on yourself and like, when it's not done, I need to fucking go?
Yeah. You know what? For a long, long time, I never gave myself grace. I think, and I know that part of this chronic fatigue situation that I'm experiencing is due to the fact that I haven't given myself grace, shown myself compassion over the years, because I always felt like time's running out. And like, I'm very educated in what's going on in the world. I see what's happening. I see how fast things are moving, and I understand agendas and all of these type of situations. And you realize that the time that we thought we had, we don't have. And only now have I fully accepted. I'm like, true trust in the mission is the ability to rest. As soon as I accepted that, I'm like, I believe in myself. I know who I am. I know it's all coming. So let's take that backward step. Let's give ourselves the love that we need as individuals first. And by doing that, honestly speaking, I've realized that my life and my journey has actually started to amplify because I've taken a step back. And I'll look at the very recent fight between Conor Benn and
Chris Eubank.
Yeah. If you look at Ben, it was like hard charging 100% of the time, just dogging him, angry. And I'm like, that works for a little bit, but you can't fight like that. You can't live like that. You'll gas at some stage. And then if you look at Eubank, if you watch his sequences, it's like the in and out, hit and not be hit, rest, hit and not be hit, rest. And if we can live that same way of that hit, not be hit and rest, we can really give 100% when we need to give 100%. We can give 50% when we need to give 50%. We can rest when we need to rest. Knowing that who we are as individuals, we're going to achieve the mission regardless.
Bro, I want to stay on time. We spoke about time a little bit off because I think about time very currently as well. Do you still feel like that idea of I'm running out of time? Do you still feel that that's apparent in your life?
Yeah, I do. And you know what was a major contributing factor to that? My mom was diagnosed with cancer 2024.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And that was, for me, I was like, all right, everything that isn't it doesn't matter anymore. Because the time that we thought we had, you think, oh yeah, you know, like you almost just expected that your parents are going to be around at a specific age, you know, and these people are going to see they're going to see their grandkids. And then you think about that situation and you think, maybe that ain't going to be the case, you know? So there is like acceptance in the mission. There is the rest aspect, but there's also, I do feel like time is running out.
Wow. So
I try to live my life as effectively as possible. And I hate to say the word busy, but it feels like we're busy out here in Bali. Feels like you don't rest. It's like you ride a bike to and from a place and your nervous system is 100% charged all the time because you're just trying to stay alive, you know? But at the same time, it's like we need to be effective in the mission that we're chasing. You know, when we do it, let's do it properly. And when we're not doing it, let's take a full step back. Yeah. Let's allow our body to truly sit back, to feel the breath within us, to feel like the blood pulsing through our veins, to just be present in the moment and just to understand that, bro, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm far further than where I used to be.
That's very current as well. And it's like, it's even as simple as eating a meal, being with your bros. When I'm eating, I'm eating. I don't want to be doing like eating and thinking about all these other things. When I'm with my bros, you know, my phone's down, I'm with my bros. I want to give them as much as I can right then and there. Sometimes I feel like that busyness aspect, we can get so caught up in, okay, I'm eating. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing some research. I've got a call over here that's coming in 10 minutes. And then we can also get busy up here, build ourselves too up here. And then when we do see our bros or when the opportunity does come, we feel depleted. We feel all these other things, no energy again. So I guess doing things with intention, but doing things, trying to show up the best you possibly can in that certain moment, you know, and then you're not going to get it right.
No.
You're not going to get it right. You might have had a shit sleep the night before.
And what's right?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
What is right? To who's right? We're just doing the best we can with what we've got. And if it means 6 hours today and 10 hours tomorrow, then why not? You know, like, I think overall, everything comes down to intention, as you just spoke about. When we're doing something, let's do that 100%. And if it's 10 minutes of intentional eating, let's eat intentional for 10 minutes. And when I'm with the boys, let's be intentional with the boys. When I'm with you, let's be intentional in this current moment. And then when we're working, let's work.
Yeah.
You know, and this is one of the biggest things for me. When I say, like, when we're working, let's work. That's one thing I love about the gym. I love about being in a fight gym because it's like someone's got the timer, you don't have the timer. Your phone's nowhere to be seen. Let's work. You know, how can I be better in this moment? Where does my foot position need to be better? Where does my chin need to be down? Where do I need to be fitter? All of these small things that make the man, that make the fighter. Completely locked in, completely intentional. That flow state. That's where I think that us as men truly develop and grow.
Yeah. It is getting more difficult to get into that flow state with the rise of technology and, you know, the phone usage and all those sorts of things. You have to really be intentional with putting that thing down and allow yourself to be bored. That's been a recent lesson of mine constantly. Ooh, when I feel a little bit, you know, you get that feeling, oh, I may as well have a little cheeky this, that, you know?
Yeah.
But bro, for that idea of timing again, just to close this part off, urgency versus patience. And you hear some influencers like Alex Hormozy, for example, always talks about you don't have time. You need to be urgent. You need to go. And then someone like Gary Vee, you have so much time. Just, you know, be patient. It'll come. I feel like for me, I'm struggling with that at the moment, that navigating that tension. I guess, where are you with that? Do you feel like you struggle with patience?
Yeah, I think I do. And this year especially, I've truly started to see the evidence of patience, especially as I've matured as a man. And I'll be 31 in November, and I realize that a lot of men are doing things far too early. They're living on a woman's timeline. Whereas for us as men, like it takes a whole lot longer to develop into the men that we need to be to lay the foundations for our families. And with the rise of social media and with this look and this status and this and that, a lot of men are just grabbing onto what they have, what they can get at this current time. But, for us as men, we're only just taking off closer to 30. Whereas a lot of women are looking to settle. So the axis of commitment is skewed because women want families, they want kids, they want stability and households and foundations in that aspect, where we realize that the value that we have comes from hard work that needs to be developed. And we're only really starting to get it now. So for us that see that and understand that, it's often a blessing and a curse. Because sometimes you can push away a good thing knowing that what's coming is going to set you up forever, set up your whole family, set up, your future wife and all that kind of stuff. But it's having that acceptance that whatever decision I make, that's the decision I make. And there's going to be cons and there's going to be pros to everything. But it's like, what regret can I live with and what regret can I not live with? So coming back to timing and patience, yeah, I do struggle with the urgency. I do struggle with the patient side of things because it's also like, I want to conquer. I'm a man. I want to achieve it. I want my mum to see it. Like I want my parents to be proud of me. And as I've aged and realizing, like we have certain wounds and certain situations have hurt us over the years, and cool. Like I look at that situation, it may not be my fault, but it's my responsibility. So how do I take this to the next level? How do I sit with where I am? Where do I feel the urgency, and why do I have this urgency? And then on the other side of that is I've done the reps, I've done the work. Drillers are killers. It's just a matter of patience now because it's coming. It is coming. We just got to zoom out a little bit.
I wanted to touch on, I guess, your fuel now. And, you've been ambitious probably all your life. In the stage 30 going on to 31. Where does the fuel come now from?
Fuel is everything. The fuel comes from my own ego as well. And I'm not afraid to say it. Like, I love my ego. It's got me this far. You know what I mean? We're like best friends now. We're transcended it, So, but also the fuel of my family. My parents migrated to Australia to give us an opportunity, a better life. And I can't just accept the fact that they've migrated and it's not going to be for nothing. I have to do something, and the way that the world's moving, agendas, digital IDs, vaccine passports, all this kind of stuff, I realized there's no time like the present. That fuels me. Sovereignty fuels me. Being able to control what I put in my mouth, what I put in my body, who tells me what I can and can't accept, like that really fuels me. Because we have certain freedoms now that if we're not careful, will be gone very quickly. And that's what I want. I want freedom. I want family. I want connection, community. And if I don't like it, I've got to build it. So this is that stage.
There's like the achievement, right? Accomplishment. And you hear like you need to conquer, you need to achieve. And then there's sort of like this other side, which is you are enough. Why do you need to be someone? I'm very similar. I feel like I need to achieve in order to be someone. Is that wrong? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's in order to be someone. We're already someone. Like I said, we're the human first, We're a vessel of God at our basis. But it's in us as men, in our blood, to want to conquer, to want to achieve. We are enough. We are whole. We are complete. We are loved. And I think for a lot of men, and for me, For me, definitely the love side of things come on the back end of achievement, the back end of provision. It's like, even in relationships, I look at relationships now and people say, oh, unconditional love. I don't think that's a thing for us as men.
Wow.
I don't think we're loved unconditionally. I always think we're loved under the pretense that we provide something. And that's normal too. Women always want to be with the best guy, the one that's going to provide them the most, the safest, the greatest opportunity for them and for their offspring. So why is it any different now? I think women, kids, dogs and cats, they're loved unconditionally. But for us, for a long time, it's been no one really cares about men because we've always been the disposable sex. We've always been the ones that send away to war. We're always been the one that, go work the jobs in the desert. And women are doing that too, but it's not in them to do that.
Yeah.
It's not in their makeup, biologically, physically, in our genes. We're built to be resilient. We're built to be warriors, built to be soldiers. And in previous times, if you weren't the best, you're the one that gets taken out first. And in 2025, I'm not getting taken out first.
Only the strong survive, eh?
100%.
Man, what do you think you struggle with now then, bro?
I struggle with a lot. Cuz honestly. I struggle in moments of like not feeling where I need to be. And the inadequacies that come with that, For some reason, there's this weird feeling of like the not enoughness, which fuels the conquer, which fuels the objective, which fuels the mission. And I think that works for a limited amount of time, but I don't think you can run off that energy forever. I think that shit gets very tiring quickly. And there's a point where we're either running away from something which is fueling us or running towards something. And I think when you accept that it's no longer the negative that's fueling you and it's the positive that's pulling you, I think that is a healthy moment for us. But it takes these negative experiences and these moments of pain, suffering to actually understand what that is, to be appreciative of the fire that's fueled you. But now it's like, all right, someone's handing me a rope to pull me. In this moment of how I see myself, my own self-image. Am I worthy enough as a man to accept the help of another man? And until we understand that, we build that and develop that love for ourselves, true understanding of our emotions, that they're not here to hurt us. It's just a protective mechanism. We just don't want to experience the pain that we experienced before. So sometimes it's hard to settle for certain things because you know that in your heart of hearts, you know that you could have done more. You know that you need to do more, that you know that you're not ready or that you missed an opportunity. But in that is also, cool, this is where we are right now. It may not be my fault, but once again, it is my responsibility.
The pressures of a man, eh?
100%.
I ask every guest this, and this is different with you because you invited me to a meeting with the Bali Brotherhood. And one of the questions was, and it is this question, what is your biggest fear? And you stood up and answered. And it was the exact same fear as me. And what you said was, I fear not making it. And I just want to know from your perspective what that means to you.
It'll be not setting myself up enough now that I can have the family, have the partner, the kids, making sure my parents are looked after, making sure that I leave an impact on this world when I leave. With everything like AI and with social media and all of that kind of stuff, people often get away from what's important. And it's all about how it looks from the outside looking in. But you also realize a lot of these people with a lot of money, a lot of these people with big Instagrams and all of that, they're deeply unhappy. And I know for us as men, happiness is not just the objective. Happiness is a byproduct of achievement, of conquer, of growth. But when we do these things of duty and responsibility, and we make it in the aspect when you can see your kids running around, and you can see like the happiness in your mother or your father or your grandmother or grandfather, that to me is making it. So there is that part of me that's, I want to make them proud. And maybe they say that they're proud of me now, but I don't feel it yet because I know that I've got so much further to go. I know that I'm just scratching the surface of my potential. And once again, it's like there's that gap where you currently are and where you know you can be. And it's up to us. It's up to us to work.
Do you think about fatherhood?
Yeah. Fatherhood lights me up. Yeah, it really does. Honestly speaking, I want 5 kids. I want a ranch. I want horses, sheep, cows, dogs, you know. This idea of life now, a lot of people are building to be seen, and I'm the opposite. I'm building to never be seen. You know, I'll have my family and my boys on a WhatsApp chat. The goal is to have like a lake or a stream on the property. I want everyone to come to me. You know what I mean? Like I want to build a genuine community away from this new age life that we're currently experiencing, because we're losing a lot of what we valued in the past. We valued union, community, connection, all of these aspects of life, where now it's like we're so connected that we're so disconnected. And I don't want that. I don't want my kids to experience that. I want them to experience almost the life that I grew up with, you know, with my brothers and the boys, you know, building dirt jumps and running through rivers and farms and all of that kind of stuff, you know, like that was life. We didn't get phones until we were probably 16 and we were present. And I don't think our parents realized how far we went and the journeys that we experienced, but our imagination flourished, where we played guns in the bush and through stones and sambundis and all these type of things, you know. And looking back, I was like, that was the life. You know, when you look back at life, you could be a mechanic, you set your family up on one income, life was good, you know, but it's not that way now. It's really not that way. And it makes me sad. But I also look at the situation and I think my dad did his best to raise us, and now it's on me to carry that king bloodline to now transfer it to my kids when that time comes.
Do you feel that pressure for you? You mentioned you see it as a privilege for yourself?
Yeah. I'm trying to change my language on certain aspects, certain perspectives, you know, like I don't have to, I get to.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to train, get to train because I'm able-bodied, because I'm not experiencing cancer, because I'm not experiencing heart disease or whatever it may be. I get to train because my parents have put me in a position that I can move countries, that I can earn an income, that I have a job. I get to train because my family's not being blown up every day and there's no war. You know, like I think that really makes me appreciative for life, because outside of that, we get so consumed in our little lives that we only look at what's right in front of us and we don't see what's really happening in the world. And it's sad, but it's also an opportunity for us to truly take inventory, take a step back and just look around and think, fuck, we have made it. What do I mean we haven't made it? And that question you asked before about what is making it, I'm also being mirrored to myself right now in this current moment that I'm here. You know, I get to do this podcast. Yeah, I get to connect with you. You know what I mean? Like, and this is just the start of something great. You know, it's not just a podcast. It's not just the second time we've met, but the world looks very bright from here on in, you know.
Wow. Welcome to the Martin Show First Ad Break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get to mahi, eh?
I do want to go to younger Matt.
Yeah.
Could be that Matt that's back in Aussie.
Mm.
Could be that Matt that's retired from MMA, going through that identity shift. What is the one thing you want to tell him, bro?
Either way, you got it. Yeah. And I think you're looking back in certain moments, it's hard to see that in the present moment, to genuinely feel that. But for myself at 30 and saying for you at 26, like, cuz you got it. Just keep doing the thing that you need to do. And it's not often about what you do, it's about what you don't do. For us as men, like for us not to be in parties, for us not to be in clubs, for us not to be womenizing, to be using substances, all of those kind of things. That's where the win is. If you understand, training, we get to train, but training is always one of those things that we have to do day in, day out. We get to work, so let's work. If you just do these basics and you live in accordance with the goals and the objectives that you have, it's coming. It's coming. You know, like it actually excites me. And it excites me to see the energy in you as well, because I can feel it at this current stage that we're just warming. Like we're just getting started.
Yeah.
So everything that's happened has led us to this current position. But now it's like we'll use all of that we've learned, all the traumas, all the experience, all the sadness, all the pain, all the suffering to now bring us to a position where it's like that is fuel. But now we're truly worthy enough to take the hand from someone else. Let me help you.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to do it alone. You're not alone. You know, we often come out here to Indonesia alone, but we're not alone.
You bro.
You know, we have a brotherhood, we have camaraderie, we have family. And together, like, we can achieve anything.
Man, my final question, brother. If the businesses vanished, everything you're building vanished, all the social posts gone, and you had 60 seconds left, what is the one final message you'd want to leave with the world?
Do the things that you say you're going to do. And be the man that you know that you are. Be kind to those that offer you less. I think with those few things, you know, be impeccable with your word. I think with it encapsulated in that, I think we can all live harmonious, happy lives.
Matt, we have a closing tradition on this podcast.
Yep.
Previous guest always asks the next guest a question, not knowing who they are.
I love that.
The question for you today, brother, is, do you feel or think conscious sexuality is important in men's work? It's written for you, bro.
That is written for me. Yeah, I do. I do think it's very important for men's work. But at the same time, I also think that also takes experience and it takes maturity and it takes growth. I don't think that consciousness comes very early. I think it's as bad as it sounds, because of the topic of sexuality, it's built through reps and it's built through our own personal maturity and it's built through our own growth and development as individuals. But we also really need to understand that that's someone's daughter, you know, and that's going to be someone's mum at some stage. So I like at this stage of my life to put myself in a somewhat similar position and think, if that was my sister, how would I want her to be treated? And that, really speaking, not keeps me on the straight and narrow, but I have a whole lot more empathy.
Yeah.
I have a whole lot more compassion and grace for them, but also for myself. Because at the end of the day, we're only learning through experiences. We can read as much as we want. You know, like if you want to learn how to box, you need a box. You can't read books all the time to box. So conscious sexuality, yeah, it does need to be spoken of. But I also, yeah, it's a repetitions things, unfortunately, in this game.
Takes time.
Takes time, guys. Patience, everything, consistency.
Man, brother, I love your mahi, bro. I love your aura. I love what you represent. Like I said, as a slightly younger fella looking up, it's you have to be really mindful and careful with who you look up to. And there aren't too many individuals in this world that I guess I look up to because I'd rather meet them in person. But you're definitely one of those fellas, definitely out here in Indonesia, bro.
Thank you, my brother.
I appreciate you, man.
Massively.
Appreciate you. I also know you got another project, your own little project that's just released recently. By Any Means project, bam.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, cuz. Talk to me a little bit about that, how people can sort of get in contact with you, where they can find you, all those sorts of things.
So you can find me on Instagram under Matt Chaos, MATTKAOS, or the By Any Means project also on social media. And what that is exactly what we've spoken about today. It's just building better men. It's by achieving the objective by any means. It's about building brotherhood, camaraderie, strength amongst a tribe. I want to be able to help other men. I want to be able to help myself. And as part of helping myself, it means service of others. You know, leaving that impact on the world is like I spoke of before. And that's what that is. That's me, having me in your corner. That's understanding where it is that you're currently experiencing life, suffering, challenges, wins, whatever it may be, and how together we overcome that, how we move through that. So, By Any Means project.
Matt King, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure, my cuz.
My brother. All right, team, that concludes another episode of The Martin Show. We will drop Matt's details below, By Any Means project below. Make sure you're subscribing to this channel. We're also going to drop _The Martin Show. We're going to be back next week for another episode. Modi ora, kia ora. Thank you.